we go. The Music City Grand Prix is green.
Colton Herta with an excellent jump makes the move on Dixon, but Rossi inside Dixon. Dixon in that orange and blue car, Rossi in the pink Auto Nation car. Herta's at the front.
Rossi with a bold move down the inside. He stuffed it down the inside of Dixon. Dixon turned in and then saw him and had to back away. They settle in now. Pagano making a move on Jack Harvey.
That's James Hinchcliffe in the dark green car trying to take a look around the outside of Pagano. Pagano in the bright yellow Menards car, looking pretty racy here early on. Miraculously, no contact yet through the field.
Tightest corner on the track. This is the 1-2 combination. Newgarden there side by side through the chicane. I don't think that can be done, but they're doing it.
That's Castro Neves trying to go to the outside in the blue car, Kevin. Here they come. First big run on the bridge. It's going to be wild.
I think Joseph Newgarden's carrying a lot of downforce in these Honda cars.
Yellow.
Great straight line. Full course yellow.
Dalton Kellett.
From the back of the field.
Spun in turn 1, it looks like, on our map.
And we're going back to green, Kevin.
Coming towards turn 11 here, so one more left-hander, and this is a very short stretch. And even before they get to green, that's Marcus Ericsson going over the top of Sebastian Bourdais.
What in the world happened there?
Well, he was ready to go, and nobody was going yet, and he just drove right over to the back.
They still have the green out. I can't believe they have the green out still.
They're waving the green, and that car is disabled right in the middle of the racetrack.
And Joseph Newgarden is all the way now at the back of the field as well, stuck behind that car.
Tiptoeing, the field has to at the back around Marcus Ericsson. He's going to try to limp it back to pit lane. Meanwhile, Sebastian Bourdais on the bridge, damaged front wing, damaged rear wing.
You got to make sure you don't go too fast, because if that back wing falls off, if you get going any faster, that could be catastrophic as well. But major damage to both cars. And amazing, there's no yellow.
They might crash again.
They're going to hit each other again.
Left rear flat for Bourdais, suspension damage.
Parts all over the track now. Check this out.
Yeah, now you got carbon on the track. I think you got to go yellow. How did that happen?
Now, in fairness, one of the reasons it might have stayed green was because they had already waved the green, and if you wave it off right then, you're going to have more of the same. So that may have been part of the process. Let's get them through here.
Car's dragging. Now he's got the wing under the front tire, and it's almost impossible, Townsend, to turn like that.
Well, we expected it would be wild. And
we're okay here. We're going to pit and change the front wing only. Pit and change.
One of the more debatable statements from pit lane. We're okay.
We're okay. All good.
We're right where we want to be.
It's just a flesh wound.
Colton Herta already up to speed. He's wasted no time. Everybody else in big catch-up mode. So Colton Herta wants to open up the gap even before that restart line. He owns the apex into the first corner uncontested.
Nice and smooth. Everybody gets through this chicane. A little bit spread out here. Scott Dixon now already looking on attacking Alexander Rossi as they come up over the bridge. He's in the draft.
150 seconds of push to pass available. That'll give you an extra 50 horsepower, but nobody's been allowed to use it yet. You've got to wait until the first 2 laps of a starter-restarter complete.
And look at that gap that Colton Herta already established going into turn 4 there through this very tight and twisty section. The key, set yourself up for right here, the exit of turn number 8. This is a passing zone in this long run. Herta has been the dominant car all weekend, winning the pole by more than a half a second, the biggest gap all season, and he's already stretching it out.
Romain Grosjean has moved up 1 position in front of Rosenqvist. Rosenqvist having his best weekend of the year so far after having a disastrous Detroit and hurting himself. He missed a race, so good news for him. He's going to be running for this team next year as well.
Meanwhile, another guy on the charge, Pato O'Ward, sits second in the championship. He's trying to hunt down Scott Dixon to see if he can open up a championship advantage. On board with O'Ward, that's his teammate, Felix Rosenqvist, right in front. Rosenqvist desperately chasing a solid finish for this season. Like I said earlier, 25th in points coming into this race.
Last lap was a 1:16.5, about 3/10 quicker than Rossi, and he's holding about a 3-second lead. He's going to come up to the bridge. Now watch how bumpy it is. Let's have a listen to this. Scott McLaughlin into the wall. That's at turn 4 as you come down off the bridge. It's going to be impossible for him to get it 3-point turn there or spun around. There's not enough room. So
on the radio, he said I was spun by James. I'm going to assume that's Hinchcliffe. Let's see.
Tight quarter racing there.
Getting set to try it again. Restart after caution number 3. Colton Herta, Alexander Rossi, Scott Dixon, Romain Grosjean, Felix Rosenquist, and Marcus Ericsson.
Oh, Penske cars
Power
each other in the wall.
Pagano, Sato, many more. And we have a traffic jam and a stoppage.
Will Power stuffed his car down the inside of his teammate and put Simon Pagano right into the wall.
Yeah, but I mean, green was probably out at that point, and once the green's out on a restart, passing can commence, and that 48 car, Jimmy Johnson's going nowhere.
Yeah.
The tire is fully debeated from the wheel, so this is going to take a little while to clean up.
Look at Will Power back here. He goes down the inside of his teammate right here, and then just drives right into the side of him right there, and shoves his teammate right into the wall.
Oh,
Simon,
Cody Ware had big damage there.
Yeah, Simon will not be happy with that, but look at this from behind.
Okay, so this is one corner. Now green's out, and Power sneaking it through.
Not really sneaking.
Well, listen, you say he drove into the side. I would say that they were side by side. Pagano turned in. I'll bet Pagano didn't know Power was there. Pagano checked up. Power pounced and tried to squeeze his way through, and then they both just got collected. That's really more of a racing incident, Paul. Teammates aside, Pagano checked up. I'm sure at the moment Power was hearing green, and he saw opportunity.
Well, I'll make you a bet Simon Pagano disagrees.
Green flag, and Herta gets the jump.
Almost a huge crash in the back again as everybody checks up. Herta off and away uncontested, but Will Power had another look to the inside along with Hunter Ray in the yellow and red DHL car. He makes a move on Dalton Kellett.
Everybody in the back is ready to go, but Herta dictating the pace with a slower restart, nearly caused another crash, but look at the gap now that Herta has. Scott Dixon now right there taking a look on Alexander Rossi.
Colton Herta must love this, Kevin. If he checks his mirrors over that bridge, he'll see all kinds of drama behind him as he just cruises away with another fantastic restart.
Well, he's got to start flying. He's got to build a gap to these guys that have pitted. The pit lane delta, the in and out is pretty short here, Kevin. So if he can build a big enough lead, he's not going to lose too many positions on the guys that are on the alternate strategy.
That is a fantastic point. Green flag racing will be Herta's friend for many reasons, and that's another one. If they run 10 straight laps of green, he may be up by 10 seconds.
They say about 18 seconds lost on pit lane. Jack Harvey, that first car to make the last stop, is currently 10 seconds back, and we'll be following that gap. Harvey to Herta to see if Herta can open it up and cover. I think he'll have no problem based on the pace he's shown and the fact that all these guys where Harvey follows are all stacked up and fighting for position.
One lap, he opened up a 2.6 second lead on one lap on cold tires. Ed Jones has just served the penalty as well.
That would be for the avoidable contact penalty on the hit with Scott McLaughlin before the red flag.
Kev, it's shaping up an interesting battle between the teammates here. Both Colton Herta and Alexander Rossi have been using a ton of push to pass here. And I heard Rob Edwards a moment ago saying, listen, right now, track position is more important than the fuel burn. So I think all those cautions have really allowed these guys to, in essence, build as big of a gap as they can right now, because Townsend, they're coming in about 5 laps. There's Rinus Fike, who just went back out on the track, missing about half of his underwing, and there's a caution. So that's going to change everything pit strategy-wise.
This is going to force Colton Herta now to take this yellow, and that's going to cycle him now back behind all of the guys that pitted. So his strategy of go as fast as you can go and build that gap that he needed to cover the guys that pitted, that's all for naught now.
So Marcus Ericsson, the Formula One veteran who's already won this season, finished second in the last race at Mid-Ohio, gets a break, he's back in front. Then Hunter Ray in the yellow and red DHL car. The capstone turbine car of James Hinchcliffe, green and white. Restarting in third, we go again from the Music City Grand Prix.
Nice clean restart that time. Erickson jumps out to a nice little gap. Where is Colton Herta? He's right there behind his teammate.
Andretti running second, third, and fourth as a team. Colton Herta with a huge run on the top side. He goes to the inside of this right-hand kink. It's a battle of bravery, and Herta, no problem on Hinchcliffe going forward.
And there's Rossi coming around as well. Do they come together? Very, very close back there.
No room for two cars there. Rossi pulled off an outside move, nearly brushed the wall.
So Rossi and Herta both move forward. Meanwhile, Ericsson has maintained the lead from the start. Hunter-Reay right up ahead as we ride with Gamebridge. Colton Herta in third right now, going over the bridge.
I don't think it'll happen here going to turn 9 with Ryan Hunter-Reay just in front. So things starting to settle in, but push to pass will be available to the drivers on this next lap.
Brand new tires for Colton Herta, a full load of fuel. Hunter-Reay's got some laps on his tires, but Colton Herta's been using the push to pass, and he's on it again right now. He takes a look on the push to pass.
Having a willpower look to the inside there of turn 11. It didn't work out for the Penske drivers earlier. Herta pulled out, backed out there.
Little bit of a waste to push to pass, Townsend.
This is the critical corner.
Yeah, this is it right here.
If you can get a good run, Colton Herta, great traction, loses a little bit to Hunter-Reay. Both drivers on the button, on push to pass and push to defend for Hunter-Reay.
Colton Herta is so aggressive in the brake zone down here at turn 4. Not close enough, but Rossi closes right in now.
So you've got Herta, who's got to be a little frustrated that he's not out in front like he has been all weekend. You've got Ryan Hunter-Reay, who we think won't be coming back to Andretti Autosport going forward. He's driving for his future, and Herta pushes Hunter-Reay over and goes forward. P2 now for Colton Herta.
Wait a minute, I thought you couldn't pass there.
Yeah, that was a brave move. Very, very high risk, low percentage move, but he pulled it off.
Now Rossi's got to run.
I think Rossi's going to feel urgency here to make a move.
On the
oh boy, stuffing it in.
Turn 9, that was the first corner of the race. Now it's after the restart, 2/3 of the way through the lap. So Rossi has picked up the position on his teammate, running in third. It's Andretti still 2, 3, 4, 5, but the lineup and the order is all changed.
I'll tell you, on a day with all kinds of contact, car to car, lots of yellow, the Andretti team with all 4 of their drivers just put on a clinic on how to pass in Nashville cleanly. Watch this. Colton Herta's going to make his move here.
Yeah, one car width wide through here, and he just, look at this, he just stuffs it in there.
And you don't do that unless you have a very hospitable teammate in Ryan Hunter-Reay that sees you coming and gives you a really wide path to pull off that move.
And now, will he make that move on Erickson? Look, he's setting it up right here.
Oh,
right there.
Ericsson's a sit and duck at this point. Used reds.
Push to pass is on.
3,500-foot straightaway is the longest, actually going into turn 4. A little less here. 1,600 feet over the bridge. 800 feet of that is actually over water with an 80-foot drop. Marcus Ericsson is doing a nice job maintaining this advantage.
You know, that onboard told me, Paul, that Ericsson, it looks like, is running a lot less rear wing. I mean, he had great straightaway speed. It looks pretty low drag compared to Colton Herta.
Yeah, Colton hit the push to pass, then he turned it off immediately. He knew he was not close enough to make that happen. But this is where Colton Herta is really strong in all this technical stuff, Marty.
And he also knows that Ericsson has to pit in about 6 laps. Listen, IndyCar made the right call on the pit road situation, but I think Colton Herta still in his mind, Townsend, thinks they made the wrong call, so he's driving a little angry. The kid that never shows emotion is a little heated behind the wheel.
Well, they need to calm him down because he is sitting pretty at this point. His father, Brian Herta, spoke to the fact that they got a little lucky with that weird pace car situation. It could have been much worse for them. They think they'll get by Marcus Ericsson. You just have to find the right time. Don't be in a rush. If you can get to the front with clean air, it's going to be your day in Nashville. Be patient here, young man.
Yeah, watch this. He went for the push to pass and then turned it off. There it is. Push to pass is on, and then he just shut it off again.
If it's not on, you want to save those precious seconds. Colton Herta down to 118.
Hey, he's going to have to stop not that long from now.
Herta's kind of upset with Ericsson, saying he's using so much overtake, so I think he's just in reaction to what Marcus Ericsson is doing.
By the way, we are at the halfway point of this race, the debut event, the first time racing on the city streets of Nashville across the Cumberland River. It's the big machine music City Grand Prix. Marcus Ericsson, Chip Ganassi Racing, and we've got another spinner, and it's 2 cars. Scott McLaughlin is one of them, and then Dalton Kellett as well.
Green, green, green.
They go again.
Rossi locking up there in the pink car, almost gets into the back of Erickson.
Colton went super early and has already built up a 1.3 second gap in 2 corners, so he's going to put the hammer down now. Newgarden has a damaged car and is trying, these guys are all going to save fuel behind him.
And all the while, Ryan Herta and Colton Herta with fingers crossed for no yellow, but not with moves like this. Hunter Ray trying to go up the inside of Scott Dixon. Hunter Ray backs out. Oh boy, Award and Rossi.
Uh-oh. Can they get it in reverse? They both get reverse.
Rossi has to keep backing up so Award doesn't run into him.
Oh, he stalled.
Oh, here comes a yellow. That's a killer for Colton Herta.
Here's the Formula One veteran, Grosjean, who almost won this year at Indianapolis, leading them back to green. Another Formula One vet, Marcus Ericsson.
Green.
Further back, Ed Jones trying to duck in. Grosjean gets the early jump.
So Herta makes a move down the inside of Graham Rahal right there. He's really got to go now. Marty, I got to believe they're racing to the last pit stop, and they are racing now to the sunlight. It's getting dark out there.
They have completed their last stop, Marty.
Yeah, that's the key. They think they're racing to sunset, but with the fact that there's only 28 to go, when Colton Herta pitted to Scott Dixon, makes a nice move there. When they pitted, they can make it to the end from here without worry at all. Ryan Herta told him on the radio, we're not worried about fuel anymore. We're racing cars now. Go as hard as you can go.
Well, you got to worry about the 8 cars in front of you, including Cody Ware right there, who's running in the top 10. Cody Ware and Dale Coyne, another gambler, along with Romain Grosjean, who leads this thing. Colton Herta, elbows out, getting aggressive. He knows he has to make this up on racecraft.
Romain Grosjean came in for a stop, so it's Marcus Ericsson leading Scott Dixon, James Hinchcliffe, and Ryan Hunter-Reay. Here is the first passing opportunity, going back down into downtown, turn 4.
Dixon has now moved back.
Herta inside Rosenquist.
Dixon's now moved back into second in the points, and I got to wonder, Townsend, will they use some team tactic and tell Marcus Ericsson to move out of the way for Dixon for the win as we come down the stretch here?
Certainly possible, but right now, the guy to watch is Colton Herta. 5th place, but fresher tires, full fuel to the end, no concern on save. Frankly, at this point, I don't think anybody in the top 10 with as much yellow as we've had needs to worry about fuel. But Colton Herta on a charge, trying to pass teammate Ryan Hunter-Reay and then teammate James Hinchcliffe.
And Colton Herta has asked for help from the team. He's got 2 teammates not at all in the championship mix, but if I'm Ryan Hunter-Reay and James Hinchcliffe, I'm going to say, no, you passed me. We're hearing that if we're getting fired at the end of the season, I'm racing for the podium.
Yeah, those guys are trying to fight for a ride next year. Colton Herta is confirmed long-term for Andretti, but back to Palou. He is in 9th, recovering from that crash earlier in the race with that big pileup. So right now, as we said, the points gap, 38 points to Dixon.
Now, Marty also told us a moment ago that there's been some concern about Ryan Hunter-Reay's power supply or something amiss, so we'll keep an eye on that 28 DHL car. Marty, what are you hearing on Ryan Hunter-Reay in the Auto Nation ride?
On the restart before this one, Kevin, Ryan Hunter-Reay said the car went completely powerless, dead in the waters. Colton Herta makes a move on his teammate, Ryan Hunter-Reay. Another pass. That moves Herta up to 4th now. Hunter-Reay, they were told that if there's a plug issue on the 28 car, he said, you've got to be kidding me, having one of his best runs of the year, a potential engine problem for the 28.
Colton's got that move down in that really narrow zone. He just stuffs it in there and hopes the other guy doesn't turn in. Super brave move.
I always love driving paint schemes that were brightly colored, like the Gamebridge car of Colton Herta. The reason for that is that bright yellow with low sun right now. If you make a pop, it shows up in the mirrors in the car in front. You can surprise the driver into an easier pass simply with a bright paint scheme as the sun goes down.
Next car in line is teammate James Hinchcliffe. James is always a very fair driver, doesn't do anything dirty, so let's watch Herta and see if he can set this deal up.
That's Hinchcliffe right in front of Herta. Herta looks to the inside, not that time.
Thought he might try to surprise Hinch there. Meanwhile, Ed Jones and Alex Palou battling out. Ed Jones having a terrific run in that Sealmaster car. His best finish to date this season, 9th at Detroit. So Ed Jones coming from way deep in the field. He's the biggest mover since the start, up 18 positions.
By the way, we have now evened green flag laps to yellow flag
Here
laps, and
comes Herta.
Herta's got the run.
Here he comes, no problem down the bridge straightaway. Just like on Hunter Ray, it is smooth sailing. And now Herta up to third. Scott Dixon and Marcus Ericsson, the only 2 cars left, Marty.
And Townsend, I have confirmed with the team, Scott Dixon good on fuel. Remember, he has not taken tires, though, since lap 32 of this race. But fuel-wise, he's good to go to the end, whether that end is lap 80 or darkness.
Tell you what, Herta was 1.5 seconds quicker than these guys on that last lap. The entry speed at the end of the straightaway, Townsend, was so much faster than Scott Dixon. His car is flying right now.
Marcus Ericsson pitted the same lap 45 as Scott Dixon, so logic might say, well, he's good as well, probably, but can't guarantee it because we know Scott Dixon saves fuel as well or better than anyone else.
How much have they saved push to pass? There you see the graphic on the left-hand side of the screen. Marcus Ericsson has been the most conservative on the push to pass button. That gives you about an extra 50 horsepower. You have 150 seconds to use it, and you can get a full 15 seconds at a time if you want. But here, it's going to be on, off, and a lot of gamesmanship for when you use that extra boost. Colton Herta just 78 seconds in the bag.
Scott Dixon's got a lot left, and Marcus Ericsson even more. So these guys have plenty in the bag, but right now, Dixon needs to be careful. He's way in front of his championship contenders, and he's not fighting with Colton Herta.
More important at the moment.
Allez, Marcus, go.
That was Mike Hull talking to Scott Dixon, the strategist, asking about his teammate in front. I need him to go because, I got to clear some space because Colton Herta is breathing down my neck, and Herta's got another good run here.
He's all over the back of him. Push to pass is on. Here we go. Is he close enough to dive down at turn 4, Townsend?
Doesn't look like it on this lap.
Got 98 seconds left.
But he is so deep on the brakes, just seems to close up with ease. I'm going to tell you, I mean, Colton Herta has just had this place mastered. Whether he's leading, whether it's practice, or whether if he has to come deep in the field, he just seems to figure out naturally such a knack for where to find speed on this track.
Dixon wants his teammate to go, but he's not even that close to him. And here comes Colton Herta. He's in the draft now. Will he pop out on the brake zone? So deep in the brakes. Here we go. What
Inside,
a move.
Dixon locks up. Dixon must be thinking, what in the world is on that 26 car? Dixon locking up, braking earlier. Colton offline, braking deeper.
And locking up Dixon, and Colton still outbraked him.
Amazing.
Well, to remember, he's been fast in every session, and he was over a half a second faster than everyone. I know he had a tire advantage yesterday, but he put a beat down on the field.
How would you like to be Marcus Ericsson watching this in the mirrors the last 4 laps, and now all of a sudden the Tiger is on your tail?
Kevin, they did tell Marcus Ericsson a moment ago, we need a little bit more. So they are not clear in the woods by any stretch of the imagination. And you heard Brian Herta say that, but just confirming, they did tell Marcus we need a little bit more to make sure we can make it to the end.
I wondered about that. Just because Scott Dixon is told he's good doesn't mean everyone else that pitted from the same lap is good.
Oh boy,
No power.
Here comes another big move out of the 5G car.
Look
He's
at the
been
brakes.
right in the...
Sideways under braking as well.
Most of them have been up the inside. This time he decided to go to the outside. Power and Rossi going at it. That is a battle for 15th.
Yeah, Rossi was looking at a solid second place finish all day, and then it all went sideways with strategy.
Here's another guy who's had a penalty. Pato Award.
2 of them.
Yeah, these are the prisoners going at it. Power and Award fighting just to make the top 15.
Hinchcliffe and Hunter Ray, teammates looking at great finishes. They're right now in 4th and 5th. They're close together on track as well.
And I believe we also heard that Romain Grosjean was penalized for the contact that he had with Simon Pagenaud just a little bit ago. So the stewards have been busy today, just like you're racing again,
Colton,
Paul.
I think Herta just hit the wall.
Oh.
Colton Herta has thrown it all away. Disaster. And you know what?
His hands were on the wheel,
He didn't want to let go. He knew a second ahead of time that it's all coming to a crashing end, and you just don't want to believe it as a driver. You don't want to let go. You're so angry instantly and stubborn. It's like, no, this is not happening. And you just don't let go of the wheel in those situations.
That was a big hit.
We'll start to pick up the pace going into 11.
He goes way early, spreads that field out. Pretty smart move.
Green, 4.5 miles to go. 2 laps in the inaugural Music City Grand Prix.
All right, hit your marks, Townsend. He's just got to get around these tight corners, and we know he's got less downforce. He's going to really pull Dixon over the bridge.
I thought Dixon was laying back, almost like he's protecting Erickson, but Dixon's starting to close a little bit. I was surprised that Dixon wasn't a little more aggressive as the pace car peeled off. He left a pretty good gap to his teammate.
Our colleague James Hinchcliffe is backed up. He's got a whole train of cars. This is going to be the best result for him in a long time. He's got to try to hang on.
What can Graham Rahal do? As you pointed out, Kevin, hasn't really been the eye, or in our eye of attention all day. Graham Rahal has kept his car in one piece and survived. We're right on board now. How much push to pass does he have? 82 seconds.
No, he's all over it. These guys are going to be using all the push to pass they have. Marcus Ericsson has plenty of push to pass left, but does he have the tires to hold it? He's got a nice little gap there. Oh, look at Ed Jones.
Ed Jones.
What a move there by Ed Jones.
Biggest mover of the race, Ed Jones, up 20 spots from starting in the back, has charged his way forward to 6th.
Steady Eddie throwing caution to the wind. He already has his best finish with 1 to go, and he wants more.
He has survived the pressure that Colton Herta put on him, immense pressure for about 20 laps, and now he's got a nice little gap to Dixon, and I got to believe now Dixon's going to settle in for the points.
He's got just a couple of more chances here going downtown. Turns toward 4, not close enough this time.
Does Hunter-Reay make a move? No. This is huge for Hinch.
Hunter-Reay's going to have the best chance for the final podium spot here, trying to get that green and white capstone shift to energy car in 3rd. What about up front? Marcus Ericsson, how was his exit off turn 8? It was good. He's got a big gap on Scott Dixon, and one more chance for Dixon to be able to go get him on the last lap.
Pretty good exit for Hunter-Reay. He might have a chance to make a move. Meanwhile, Erickson just uncontested across the bridge
here, buddy. Bring it home.
Drove a masterful race. He was under immense pressure. He's running light on downforce. Massive crash early in the race, a penalty, and he's going to bring it home.
Marcus Ericsson has 2 more corners to go. We've had a spin and win. Danny Sullivan in the 1985 Indianapolis 500. A launch and win. Marcus Ericsson went 8 years without a victory. He's now won 2 times in IndyCar.
Nice job, Marcus.
Marcus
Win number
Ericsson
2.
takes the inaugural Music City Grand Prix.
What an improbable win for Marcus Ericsson after being airborne on lap 5. At that moment, would you believe me if I told you were going to win the race later?
No, this is unbelievable. It just shows that in the car anything can happen. You can never give up. And if you have a good team and a good car, you can still get to the victory lane. So this one is the guys, they repaired the car. They did great.
Lost Chip Ganassi coming in.
and to get a 1-2 for Chip as well is amazing. Yeah, Brian came along this weekend. Amazing to represent them, and Husky Chocolate has been with me for the last year and a half. So thankful. The Honda was great. You know, the power was great all day. But yeah, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it.
Watch the Big Machine Spike Coolers Grand Prix Saturday, August 14th at 12:30 p.m. on NBC SN.